Okay, just a little note on progress over this past week since the last video that I made. Um, I found I didn't have enough tubes in my parts supply, at least here in Seattle, to fully populate the McGrath Mini amp with tubes. It takes four 12AX7s and one EL84. And I have some EL84s, but I only had three 12AX7s, and they're of unknown quality anyway, a bunch of random tubes of all different ages. Some could be from the 1960s, taken out of old equipment and such. Some are probably much newer than that. Definitely nothing matched or anything like that. So I ordered a set of new 12AX7s, and I'm still waiting for that to arrive in the mail. It may come tomorrow, hopefully, we'll see. Uh, but anyway, while sitting around twiddling my thumbs waiting for that, I realized, well, I've got three 12AX7s and I do have an EL84, so I can partially populate the amp and power it up and see if most of the functions are working or not. So I did that, and it did power up, and it appeared like most of the functions were working. The relays and the knobs and everything were doing what they should do. However, the output level seemed very, very low and very distorted, and just like it wasn't putting out the power that it should. Of course, this is a very low power amp anyway, but it was lower than it should be. And for this, I'm very thankful that I have built one of these amps before, so I was familiar with how loud it should be, and using the same speaker and the same EL84 single-ended power amp design. So I knew it wasn't putting out what it should do. There ought to be able to make at least 2 to 3 to 4 watts or so RMS of audio power, and it definitely wasn't doing that. It was putting out surely substantially less than 1 watt. I mean, 1 watt of tube audio power is significant volume, and it was just very, very quiet and very distorted. So I felt sure something was wrong, and I've been kind of tearing my hair out. Well, I don't really do that. I don't have that much to tear out, so I have to be a little more sparing with it. But I was driving myself crazy going through my very complicated circuitry, as you've seen in some of the past videos, trying to find where my wiring errors were and how it could be putting out some audio, but not much, and what that could amount to. And I measured voltages and found there was plenty of power supply voltage, and the transformer was okay and all that, but the voltage across the cathode resistor on the power amp, the cathode bias resistor, 130 ohms, was 0. There was no measurable voltage across there, and there should be. I mean, it depends on the exact parameters of the circuit, but that should be 10 to 20, maybe 30 volts, depending, in that type of range. Definitely a measurable voltage and measurable dissipation through that 2-watt resistor. And I was seeing nothing. So that immediately showed me, okay, that there's definitely some power amp problem, some problem with the power amp. And I again traced out all the circuitry. I couldn't find any wiring errors. And then I thought, well, maybe it's a bad tube. That's seldom going to be the first thing I would go to as an assumption. I just assumed I must have made a wiring error and all that wiring, but no. Turns out, yeah, it was a bad tube. And so now in this video, I want to show you what exactly I found when I looked at this tube up close. I pulled the EL84 out of the amp and just visually inspected it, and I found that the screen connection is actually broken inside this tube. It must have gotten blown at some time in its life, and I don't know, it's just out of my parts bin. It's not a new tube, so there you go. But you can see this pin here is pin 9 out of all the pins coming around. The highest one here, pin 9. And if you look in the glass envelope, you can see it goes up on this wire there, and then there should be a little strip of metal that goes across to the elements within the tube, but it's broken. Maybe you can see there's just a little piece welded on there, and then it's blown like a fuse where it should connect across to that that node of the tube structure, which is actually the screen. And when I first saw that, I thought, wow, is that how it's supposed to be? So I compared it with another EL84. Glad I have a few of these around. Here's pin 9, and this is a slightly different manufacturer and stuff, but you can see it goes up in the tube, and then there's that strip of silvery metal going right across there that's welded onto the bent pin, and then goes across to the element of the tube there, and that's how it's supposed to look. And so, yeah, that is certainly enough to explain the fault that I was seeing and hearing. So yeah, I haven't powered up the amp again with this new tube in there, but I'm pretty confident that will make a big difference. Again, here's the one that's correct, and then here's the one that's blown, and you can see it's just looks like a blown fuse. So at some point there must have been way too much dissipation on that screen. Now maybe my circuit did that to it and it blew, and so I'll see if it blows this other EL84. That's why I'm using old ones and not buying new ones yet to try in this amp in case it is blowing tubes. But I've never seen an amp do that. But yeah, that's clearly the problem here. This screen had a severe overcurrent and actually burned out its little connection. So happy to have discovered a rational explanation for the behavior I was seeing. And yeah, I'll be powering it up again with tubes, hopefully on video next time. Maybe I'll have the new tubes by then. But anyway, that's where the project's at as of now. Boop.